hello, and welcome to Get Out and Grow. Carl Munson here, along with John Agate, Anna Todd, and Head Gardener Lee McGrady for the gardening Q&A from Expats Portugal. How's everyone doing? Lee, how are you?
Yeah, really good. 2 weeks off work, doing very little apart from enjoying myself. So
Good man.
First day back at it today. So ready for the onslaught of the hot weather and the hard work.
Yes, is it warm in Lisbon this afternoon?
We were touching 34 at about 1 o'clock. So it's fair to say it's fairly warm. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Not easy weather to work in. I'll take my hat off to you.
And that was in the shade.
Wow. Okay. I hope you've got a lovely wide brimmed straw hat. Anna Todd, how are you? Top videographer and oh, hold on a minute. What's going on here?
It is actual footage of me taking my hat off to Lee.
Yay!
Sorry, I couldn't resist that.
No, remember
okay, continue, Anna.
Thank you, John. Anna, how are you? We have
got a bedroom full of plots, hasn't he?
He has. He brings them every week. It's amazing. There was some a bit of bedroom. Yes, bedroom prop action last week. Don't get the wrong idea. But you've got a prop for every occasion, I think. They're the natural actor, John Agate, Senor Agé. Oh, he's reaching for another one. Watch out, everybody. So, Anna, top videographer. Watch out, Natural History Unit, BBC. Some more footage from you this week of the woodpecker. How are you? How's Devon today?
Yeah, it's doing all right. It's a bit more milder today. It's it looks like it's just gone under 20 degrees. My screen's just decided to switch itself off, but my laptop tells me it's about 16 degrees. So it's been sort of bright but cloudy. It looks like the sun has done its job for today. I think it's just going a bit cloudy, but it hasn't rained, which is good. So all looking pretty good, and bird feeders have been busy as well, and yes, some unwelcome visitors as well, but otherwise all doing pretty good, and everything just growing like crazy at the moment. So all good there.
Fantastic. And look at this. We have had a super chat in, our first on this show. Thank you, Marty. We have got $3 to share, guys. Isn't that lovely? When we get to meet one day, that's going to be in the pot there for us. A coffee each, I think. Cheers, Marty. In Portugal, that'll buy us all a coffee. Very kind indeed, Marty, who says, hi, Green Thumbs. Cheers from Alaska. Always appreciate your guidance on all things gardening. Isn't that fantastic? I think probably what we'll do is, any donations like that. How about this, guys? We give them to some sort of environmental charity in Portugal. Would that work? Because we're not. It's not going to be easy to get together to spend it. But that's we gratefully received them, and I'm sure we can do some good work with that here this side of the water. So thanks, Marty. What do you think of that, Lee? An environmental charity?
Sure.
We're losing you, mate.
What's your mate called with the community garden?
Oh, Mansell over in Plymouth.
Well, I think it's a pretty good scheme. It gets the community involved. I think anything we get can go there.
Kintsugi.
Perfectly.
Perfect. Kintsugi in Plymouth. We get Plymouth. My goodness, we what a sad event over the last week. When was it? At the weekend. Horrible time for Plymouth, and I guess it's the least we can do is to put a bit of love back into the community in our own small way with the Kintsugi garden there, and spread a little bit of love and light against that awful thing that happened there in Plymouth. So thank you, Marty. I think that's what we're going to do. Perhaps we can let Mansell know that as soon after the show. Marty, you're a star. Thank you very much for that. We're off the mark with $3, which we weren't expecting. And that's going to go to that very good cause in Plymouth, in Devon, in the UK. Fantastic. All right. So who else is here? Paul, Louise, and Lottie. It's Louise who's here this evening. Good evening to you, Louise. Always great to have your company. And you're saying you've had 8 weeks after planting French beans from seed. You picked the first kilo of them this morning. That is good work. Isn't that a miracle? Isn't that nature? 2 months there, seeds in the soil, kilo of beans this morning. I mean, it's like Jack and the Beanstalk. You know, that's worth swapping the family cow for in my book. Matthias, thank you very much. It's a cup of char incoming. Thank you very much. I would love some apple pie. Oh, with ice cream one. Yes, please. Apples, Portuguese apples from Donna Graça's garden. Fantastic. A great harvest, I guess, to Louise. No gardening experience here whatsoever. That is, I mean, Lee, that is a pretty good harvest, isn't it? A kilo out of these tiny little bean seeds that would have been planted 3 months ago. Kilo there.
It's fantastic.
All right.
It just shows in 8 weeks what you can do. I mean,
Yeah,
8 weeks is nothingness. It's great. And I bet she's had more growing them and picking her own and eating them than she would ever do from buying them from the supermarket.
Yeah.
So it's all part of the fun, isn't it?
It really is. And what I love, that is one of my favorite crops. If I can ever grow a bean or two, fresh eggs from the chickens, make a fresh bean omelette. One of my absolute faves. That's a really simple and delicious thing. Plenty of butter on there, folks. Will Thompson is here tonight. Hey, guys, it's been 1.5 years since I told you all to get growing. We took your advice, Will, and here we are. Kilo of beans there. There's the evidence. Glad you guys are still going. Get in. Sorry, can't stop. Battery dying. Thank you very much. There's me apple pie with ice cream on. I'm going to have to get someone else talking in a minute. Thank you so much. Marty, back to Marty. Cheers from Alaska. Always appreciate your guidance on all things gardening. How can we help, Marty? Let us know. What are you growing in Alaska? What happens in Alaska at this time of year? We would be delighted to know. Can you tell me how to kill a yucca palm tree? Sounds like he's at the end of his tether with a yucca. What should he do, Lee?
Sounds like talking palm trees.
Yeah, palm it off on somebody, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, very good.
Dynamite, you say?
The problem with yuccas is you've got to get as much of the root out as possible because they will self-seed from the root you leave in.
Right.
So the only way to do it is to dig out the main trunk of it and then dig a good distance as well for all the stuff that's near the surface. You can find it fairly easy. It's fairly thick stuff, but it pulls up well as well. So it's just hard graft, a lot of hard work at it.
Shirt off.
Yeah,
Shirts
they're not
off.
too difficult.
Yeah, okay. And
sometimes
it sounds like. Say again, Lee.
Suntan lotion on if you're taking your shirt off.
Yeah, absolutely. Sunscreen, big wide brim straw hat again. I give all the ladies in the neighborhood a treat there, Gary. So, yuccas, I mean, they grow well, don't they? If you're in the right place, if you want a bit of cover. Fantastic thing that goes fairly quickly and big. I guess in many ways, it's a bit like the, what's the tree that everybody really hates in the UK? The Leylandii. Is it the tropical Leylandii in a way?
I hate Leylandii as well. No, it's more like the tropical rhododendron.
Okay, excellent, nice distinction.
Because the Leylandii, once you cut them down, they're done with. But the rhododendron, if you don't get it all out, it bounces back at you. And the yucca is very similar. So,
okay, there you go. A suggestion for the $3 energy bars for the Bomberos. That's a good shout as well. If we get to a point where we've got a lot of money to share out, that's a very good call there, Matthias, on a worthy and worthwhile receptacle or destination for charity fundraising this side as well. So thank you for that suggestion. FNTKM97 is a bon dia from Taiwan. Our first viewer, I think, in Taiwan. John, do you want to say good afternoon in Taiwanese? No, probably he's muted. You missed it. You missed John speaking in Taiwanese for a moment there.
I don't know any Taiwanese is what I actually said.
You could have got away with that completely. That's when you're muting. Your inadvertent muting could have worked perfectly for you, John. Do you want to do a little bit more Taiwanese? Let's get go on. Very good. Incredible. It's currently 34 degrees in the shade here at 1821 in central Portugal. Tell us what to say, FNTKM97. What is a good Taiwanese greeting? Amazing to have your company tonight. It's Khadija. I'm kicked off from commenting on FB because apparently I broke their rules with some innocuous comment the bot didn't like. So easily done. Sorry, not Khadija. Rebel Mama did that. That doesn't surprise me. That you'd expect someone called Rebel Mama to get kicked off Facebook. A badge of honor for you, Rebel Mama. What did you say? Or maybe you shouldn't repeat it again. Oh, it is Khadija. Sorry, it is Khadija as Rebel Mama. One and the same. Fantastic. Okay, now we know. Love you guys. Food for the world. So important. We get the Thompson thumbs up, and that's not an easy thing to get, I tell you. Good evening all from Mark Stoll in Norfolk. Good evening to you, Mark. And Eric. Eric Huiza's here as well. How are you? In Mexico, is that right, Eric? Marty, I just like hearing about Portugal gardening as I'm leaning towards settling in central Portugal in 2022. So keep a close eye on what Louise is doing. That's probably your best match here. We sold house, so no garden in Alaska any longer, sort of between lives now. Okay, well, the sooner we can get you here, the better. Feijoal, Helder beans, Portuguese flat beans with fried bacon. Oh, yummy. Also works well. That's a light lunch. And I'm surprised that Lee didn't say, hey, this is a gardening program, not a cookery program. But that slipped past him then, I think. I
no,
consider...
that's one of my favourites.
Oh, is it? Beans and bacon?
Yeah, beans and bacon. I can, every day of the week. Lovely.
And you can knock that up. You could knock that up in the garden, couldn't you? I mean, if you got your primus and you get the beans straight off the vine, and you got a bit of packet of bacon straight in the pot, in the pan there, fried up, lovely lunch. Considered Yetman's offer to come down and garden with him in. Oh, your man's offer to come down and garden with him in Lisbon, but those early mornings, no, I'd let him down. I'd manage a week at best with his energy. Love his mantra though, on time and reliable. We need more of that. My goodness, the compliments are flowing thick and fast from Mr. Thompson tonight. John Hayfield is here. Does anyone there nurture the indigenous rock roses? Cistus ladanifer gives the most beautiful, subtle, aromatic perfume. We have them in our garden here because they remind us of the Algarve. In fact, we refer to them as the Portugal plant. Does that ring a bell, Lee, the rock rose?
Yes, it does. One of my, not a permanent customer, but a gentleman I do work for on a regular basis. He has some rock roses that he's very proud of and should be because they're stunning. And he's got them in like a rockery setting. Yeah. And it just looks amazing and it smells fantastic.
All right. So anyone want to send any pictures in tonight?
The next time I'm there, I'll snap a photograph and show it you at some point.
Perfect. Okay. I can do a little bit of that right now. Actually, I've just had a quick look at rock roses. John, were you waving? Did you want to say something?
Yeah, actually, I was just wondering, this isn't in the Get Out and Grow group yet, so I was just going to put the comment about if you've forgotten the questions, any questions or anything like that.
Nice one. Okay, thank you very much. Some questions coming in, some comments coming in. We love them all.
Do you want me to just share it on there, or?
Great job, John. Feel free. All kinds of color combinations here by the look of it. So I think you mentioned the white one, Lee. They are beautiful.
Rock rose is kind of a generic name for like a more basic, wild-looking type of rose, not as formally kept. You're going to get a massive variation in different species, type.
So now why?
All right, John, there you go. Thank you for that, mate.
Some people specialize in them. Yeah.
All right, nice one, Lee. Ni hao, of course, it would be Mandarin, wouldn't it? Ni hao ma, from a traditional Taiwanese greeting from Will there. How boo you? Good, not good. Okay, I think we'll just stick with ni hao for the time being. Sticky leaves, small white flowers. Yeah, for the rock roses continuing there. And Louise, yes, indeed, is shouting out from central Portugal. Hi, Marty, from Louise there. Yesterday, we harvested our own peanuts and then we made peanut butter. How, Eric? I would like to know how you did that. I have tried to make peanut butter in the past. I'd love a sort of recipe tip there if Head Gardener McGrady will allow us to talk about cooking for a moment. Ever grown peanuts, Lee?
Nope, never tried them. Not a particular fan of nuts, to be honest.
Okay.
So yeah, apart from the walnut, which is a fantastic plant, but no, I've never grown them. Yeah, yet
right,
I've not grown them yet. Yeah, let's put that.
Okay, all right. And ni hao ma, yes, Ma is so genuine. Ask you good, yes, ni hao ma. Okay, thank you very much. Jalal Ahmed Chowdhury, born from Bangladesh as well. Fantastic. So many new people saying hi from around the world, Taiwan and now Bangladesh. And Rebel Mama Khadija, moving to free roaming cow area in a week. Saint-Jean in Peneda Gerês, beautiful part of the world. We featured it, of course, didn't we, last week with our rewilding special. And wonder if I can gather some manure and used it. Need to be mixed with anything so it isn't so potent or straight in the ground. Lee, what's the best way to handle manure? Gloves, right?
Well, I don't bother with gloves manure. No, you don't need gloves for manure. Just digested grass. Don't be soft.
All right. All right. It'll be soft. Oh, no. Oh, we've lost him, haven't we? Talking
It depends
shit.
what stage it depends what stage it's at. If it's you all disappeared for a second at the moment. Then. If it's still wet and a bit fresh, then I would mix it with my compost first. But if it's dried out, it's been out in the sun for a week or so, you can just scoop up and bang it straight onto your soil. It'll be fantastic.
Yes.
So it just depends on what stage of the decomposition it's at.
Yes, and you can bring back some of those great childhood memories, of course. If it's turned into a frisbee, you can actually just flick it and try and aim it in the right place where you want it to land. Perfect. Who doesn't like doing that? Louise, rock roses spread really fast here and have very sticky stems. Okay, good to know. And Rebel Mama from Louise, not sure about collecting the manure, but need to be very careful of any food additives or herbicides that may have been used. Okay, good call there. Try it when you go to your local Chinese lodger; it will surprise them. Unless they speak Cantonese, then they won't know what you. I think probably ni hao would be fairly universal, wouldn't it? But that could be useful in the local Chinese shop. But Dad, what is the best way to get rid of Spanish broom? What is Spanish broom, Lee?
It's very similar to English broom actually, but not as pretty. It's a tall, scrubby looking plant. If you have to get rid of it, it's the same as always. There's no chemical for it. You just got to dig it out and then mow over the area regular. Because that again, it can blossom back out from leftover roots. So take out the majority of it with your spade, and then just regular mowing over that area will control it and kill it off eventually. But it's not one of my favourites either. It's not something I like. No.
Oh, okay, all right. And has it got those yellow flowers like you would see the broom that I'm familiar with?
Yes, I don't know because I've only ever seen it in my here, and it's never flowered. It's just been a big green leaf, but I presume it will have a coloured flower on it. I'm trying to think if I've seen it in flower. Well, let's have a Google of it.
Yes. Spartium is the yes, it does have a yellow flower. Spartium is the Latin name. And, let's bring it up onto the screen now and show you Spanish broom. Then thinking of like Spanish mother-in-laws flying about on Spanish broom. But there, let me just click this next button, and there you have it on the screen. There's your Spanish broom. Yes, nice little yellow flower. They're not unpleasant, but sounding a little bit invasive from yours point of view. Okay, butcher's broom.
That's actually quite a nice picture of it.
Yeah, okay.
That's making it look better than it actually is. They're all much drier and yeah.
Okay, and apparently we had a butcher's broom, a spiky, glossy plant in the back of that could give you a nasty little scratch as well. Actually, so I don't know if a Spanish broom is the same. Thank you for that, Mrs. M. Rebel Mama, the local Cachena cows are raised and renowned for their free-range, delicious meat. Probably not many herbicides around because of the National Park of Portugal. Sounds ideal. Best cow poo in Western Europe, by the sound of it. Rebel Mama Khadija there. Fantastic. Okay, so let's go to a little bit of natural history videography, courtesy of Anna Todd. And I think Anna's got a couple of questions as well. And John may reach for another prop in a moment and give us a little bit of extra added value too. Let's go to this video that you took recently. This fabulous visitor in your garden, Anna.
Is it gone? It's still there on the fat ball feeder. Fat ball? Oh. I can't see that.
Oh. Gone. There it was, gone. Anna, who is this that we are looking at on the screen here? A pet almost.
This one is it's a greater spotted woodpecker. It turned out, I think this one is actually a female. I only recently learned this. I think this is from my aunt and uncle who is very knowledgeable on the birds and wildlife. But I think I've actually learned that males, I think, have. I'm just trying to think if I have got this right. I think one has 2 areas of red. I think one has red on its head and one on its red on its tail, I think. And the other one, I think, only has red on one area. So I think that's how you can tell which is which. So I think, yes, distinguishing the greater and the lesser spotted. So I think it is the greater, which I think might be becoming a bit more often, but yes, I think we've actually seen it twice so far this week, I think. So I think yesterday I think it came, and definitely today as well. So I've been trying to catch it. It doesn't stay around very long. I think one time I did manage to actually grab my phone to do a bit of filming. I think I got about 3 seconds and it was off. So it always likes to come when I've never got a camera handy. So one of these days I will actually use my camera and get a bit more better picture. But it doesn't actually make any noise when it comes. So despite having a bright red color on it, it doesn't let you know when it's coming. So but it's great to see though.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's wonderful. Keep up the good work on that. It's a delight, isn't it, to see, whatever is exotic in your locality, to actually be able to capture it like that is absolutely brilliant. So thank you very much, Anna. Back to you for a couple of questions in a moment, and any other questions that we've got in the comments. And in the meantime, so I can eat a little bit of apple pie with apples from Donna Grassa's garden. I'm going to play this little clip that I took, I think it might have been yesterday, well, fairly recently anyway. Check this out. The walkway there and the sidewalk, you see Caldastarenia railway station. So you could live in San Martino de Porto and come to Caldas to work and get a bit of company in the distance there. And then here's something really special for you. Here is a horta a porta. What's this? Your garden by the door. A community garden. And if we look down below, a bit of companion planting going on. I think there's some purple basil, right? And some marigolds. And some nice chard in there. And then there's some tomatoes here and a little sunflower, mini sunflower. This lovely crop of tomatoes growing on the street here. Oh, some espinafres, the Portuguese spinach. Slightly different to the spinach you might be used to. Some rainbow chard there, some nice blooms. Lovely bit of companion planting. Isn't that amazing? I think that might be an olive tree. An olive sapling there. And look, lovely great big tomato bush in the middle of town here in Caldastarenia. Isn't that fantastic? Horta or porta. I think that's like a garden by your door, basically, and some council-approved guerrilla gardening there. I thought it was just wonderful to be walking down the street and you see that there's some food there planted on the street, and leads us into possibly a little bit of a chat here about companion planting. Marigolds, the classic, of course, to go alongside your edibles to keep pests away. And what have we found out this week? Lee, could you give us a little bit of a flavour or an introduction to companion planting and maybe some examples that you might use? He's always freezing up when I get to the important question.
Example-wise, it's really quite... Companion-wise, it's really quite simple. Companion planting is a broad name for plants that do well next to each other. So it depends what soil you've got, depends what climate you're in. I've started here in Portugal to put some more sunflower seeds in, because I know it attracts the bees, and hoping to get better crops with the tomatoes from having that companionship there. But also this year, underneath tomatoes, because they're going to be for a long time, I planted a lot of perpetual lettuce, because I know I can just leave it. The ground's not going to be disturbed, and I can pick away as I want. And the perpetual lettuce at the back, I've let go to seed, so I can take the seed next year from it. So that's just one example of companion planting, using that small space and the space under the tomatoes to grow something different. When you talk about marigolds, the marigolds are more of a sacrificial planting, not there to give any benefit apart from being food to protect the plants you want. Right. So that's kind of different. Planting is having a herbs oil types and the same watering type. They'd say a lot. So if you herbs do them all together, pack them together, you'll do well because you're more focused on that one. So yeah, companion planting is simple. putting plants next to each other that enjoy the company of that plant. Or you can benefit from having a low plant and a higher plant next to it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. If you've got space under anything, so you're because they grow really quickly, and you can get the crop underneath. All
Sorry, mate, we missed that last recommendation.
That's valid. Not very complicated.
Yeah, what was it? Your recommendation, that last plant, if you got a little bit of space in the lower canopy?
All I was saying was,
oh, he's breaking up real bad. Let's go to Louise's comment here. Nasturtiums also
radishes and carrots, because they grow really quickly, so you can plant them under.
It sounded like a BBC sound effect, dog barking there. We'll have somebody walking along the gravel in a minute. So Louise is saying nasturtiums also good companion plants on their flowers are edible. Yes, very nice. They're beautiful as well. They grow so quickly, don't they? Rather have those. I was going to say rather than weeds. Some people do see them as weeds here, I think. Plant carrots next to the onions and chives. Plant basil next to the tomatoes. I mean, great for harvesting as well, right? So you've got your tomato salad there with some basil. Oh, you're back, Lee?
Yes, I swapped my Wi-Fi over. So I've gone on to a different connection.
We got as far as radishes and carrots, quick growers, and a little bit of space. Space fillers, I think you were basically saying.
Yeah. It's just that same understory problem where people grow something that's large, and you want to fit underneath it. So they're good companions for anything vegetable wise, really. Anything with a short lifespan.
Okay.
But like Louise said, nasturtiums brilliant for it, and another great ground cover that I enjoy. To keep the weeds down, they grow wild on their own, and they're pretty, and they're great for the environment, and some people do enjoy eating them. So Louise, dead right. Yeah.
They make a salad very pretty, don't they, if you put a nasturtium flower in there. Fantastic. Fiona and Simon are here. Great to see you guys. Great tips, Lee. And hola, Fresh Air team, fantastic video. Glad you enjoyed it. A couple of videos there, the woodpecker and the camera improved, or the local authority improved growing out on the pavement. And plant borage, as the flowers are great in, I didn't know this, in gin and tonic. The blue flowers turn pink in a G&T. Well, there's a conversation starter. Does that get your approval, Lee, or a waste of a good flower?
Oh, yeah. No, anything that's got gin in it is always good for me. Yeah.
You chew the flower at the end of the drink, maybe. Sounds great. All right, brilliant. Thank you for that. A little mini introduction to companion planting there. What I've also found you is there's so many charts available on the web. What a time we live in, isn't it great? There's so many resources that you can download for yourself. But this one here on the right of the screen, companion planting there, they also have the foes as well as friends. So is there something that should be avoided as well, Lee, in plants that really kind of set each other off badly, as well as the ones that might benefit from being next to each other?
No, I think the foes would be more to do with the soil types. So putting stuff like potatoes in with a soil that they don't enjoy, and then trying to undercrop it with something that does enjoy that soil. So I think there's having creepers in there, having something that's going to creep around and choke out a plant. Having two plants of the same height that are going to cause the shade, and then not allowing the wind to blow through. There's lots of reasons not to plant things next to each other. So there's nothing that's really going to affect each other too badly, but it's just to get the benefit of the best of the plant, you need the right soil conditions, and you don't want them to be at the same height where they're going to be competing for space and sunshine with each other.
Tremendous. Good to know.
You can always use a stacking system then as well. You can put the smaller plants at the front and stack up to the wall, or stack up to the back of the bed with the taller plants.
Oh, very nice. So you've got basically like a little microcosm of the rainforest with all its canopies. Yeah. Super.
That's a perfect analogy for it. If that's the way you think, and you get your heights right, then you can make a stunning. You can just get more for your money when it comes to space wise. That's the big benefit of companion planting. Yeah.
Tremendous. Okay, let's move on to the questions then. Any questions you got, folks? We're only here for another 15 minutes or so, so get them into the comments if you will. Head Gardener McGrady here. and the keen gardeners and presenters here tonight, co-hosts on the show, John and Anna and myself, Carl. We have something to add to the screen to show to you. Hopefully you can see this on your phone, Lee. This one, Anna, is from friend Joe, I believe. Is that correct?
It is, yes. I'm still trying to remember if they're in Cornwall or Bristol, but yeah, this one was, if I have got the question, yeah, it was. I've got a replanting question, which is the container in question. What vegetables or what is best to grow now, as in this month? It will be grown, as you can see, the size of the container. It will be pretty much grown in that kind of space. I haven't been given any conditions like light or that kind of thing.
I've just done a quick thing in my head. It's now mid-August, so you've got 6 to 8 weeks of good growing conditions left before you need to think about swapping into your winter crops. So to fill the bed, to fill that little container, you can get the little round carrots. I can't think of the name right now.
Baby carrot.
Like baby carrot. Well, no, it's not a baby carrot. It's a carrot that stays round like a. I can't think of anything to compare it to. Like one of the small bouncy balls you get.
A radish shape.
Yeah, Oh, the other one is radish as well. Carrots, radish, perpetual lettuce. They go really quickly because you've got a small window now of opportunity. They all grow well in containers. I don't think it looks quite deep enough to do spuds in, and I don't think we've quite got the time for that. Spinach would be fantastic. Spinach will grow through well into October as well down south. So you could get a good crop of spinach in there.
They're beautiful. That's a great suggestion. Little carrots, beautiful.
The problem doing normal carrots, you end up picking them too soon to stop them from hitting the bottom of the bucket. They start to force themselves out, normal carrots. So the little round ball carrots, I can't think what they're called. And they grow really much quicker as well. You get a quicker harvest from them. When I used to work with the schools back in England, I used to use it all the time. I can't really think of the name, but I always used to use those rather than the longer carrots because the kids would get a quicker crop out of it. Yeah, and it would be more interesting for them to grow a different type of carrot than what they used to see in the markets.
What it says here, Lee, is they're called Paris or Parisian carrots.
Parisian carrots. There you go. Yeah.
And that is probably because all the French people are throwing them at the president at the moment, maybe. They're perfect shape for that, aren't they?
They would be great in a catapult. Yeah, they're that size. Like a big marble size. Yeah.
Superb. Excellent. There you go, Joe, in the southwest of the UK. That's a nice looking, just dwelling on that for a moment. That's a good kind of waist height grower, isn't it, for somebody with a sort of mobility issue where they needed something at that height? That's a good bit of kit, isn't it?
The stuff I like about these higher beds is accessibility is fantastic for them. For disabled people, for older people that can't bend down the same, and they don't contain too much soil that you can't swap it out and change it every year. It's not going to be a cost every year to replace the soil completely, so you're not having to worry about digging it out and just tip it out and put fresh stuff in. It's just dead simple. It's very similar height to what I grow my strawberries in here. But from what I can see on the image.
Yeah. Superb. Yeah. Okay, Anna, that's great. Thank you. Anything else from your corner of the screen?
Just throwing that back in, Carl. That the same advice for that container would be for window boxes or even a large plant pot back in the UK at the moment. So if you've got a bit of space where your marigolds are died off and your geraniums are past the best, rip them out and get some veg in before the winter comes. Perfect.
Excellent stuff. Sorry, Anna, before we go to the next question, cranberries, good for ground cover. Another tip coming in. And the peanut butter recipe, guess what? Peanut butter is made by putting peanuts in the mixer and mixing them. That's it. Mix them a bit longer if you want it more oily and less time if you want more chunks. Well, that makes perfect sense, Eric. And so the oil content, their own oil content, is what makes the paste. That's great to know. Fantastic. Hi, Eric. Asked Louise, what's the average yield per peanut plant? And they're an interesting plant. I'll get some of those up on the screen before we go tonight. Anna, back to you.
That's right. We've got one that's coming as a suggestion from Fiona, I think, in the group. But I've got a question that's coming from Louisa, which I put under the Get Growing category on my questions. Is it possible to grow passion fruits and papaya from seeds? The seeds are already free from the fleshy outer covering, from what I know.
Yes, it's very possible to grow from seed. They do take a bit of time to germinate, and you need to be a bit careful with them. They don't like to get too wet for too long, if I remember correctly. But the plants are so cheap here, you can buy them, kill it, and don't worry about it. But it's always more fun growing it from seed, growing your own plant. So have a go at it. Send us an image.
Yes, there you go, Mrs. M. And I know that passion flowers, passion fruit is a lovely vine to grow. I'm not sure about papayas, and I'm not ever seen a papaya as far as I recall. But I'm sure if that works, we will be the first to see the pictures here. Peanuts, very quickly then, before we come back to you, Anna, if you've got anything else. This is what a peanut plant looks like. Is this also known as the ground nut, I think? The question was asked, what's the average yield per peanut plant? And Eric over there in Mexico, 20 peanuts per plant. So no wonder you were making peanut butter out of those. Sounds like you had a bumper crop with those. So thank you very much for bringing that up, Eric. Any more, Anna?
I can't see any further questions. We did have an idea suggested in the group, and that was about water conservation. I think that was from Fiona, if I remember rightly. And I think there was another idea. I apologies for not noting the name on this one. We had an idea suggestion of how science works in gardening, like soil pH and compost and that kind of thing. And yes, I think that's everything I've got as far as questions.
There was one question during the week that I didn't answer because I was that's quite busy. But somebody had questioned whether it was okay to use soil that had been churned up by a wild boar. And I just wanted to have a quick comment at that. I used to use soil that had been churned up by a wild boar in Scotland, and it was much wetter there. And because it was much wetter, I used to let it dry out in the sun first. I used to move it onto a tarp and then add it to my compost. But here in Portugal, I wouldn't really have any problem with just putting it straight onto the soil and digging it in deep. I don't think there's any real bacterial problems with it. But again, that's probably something best done well before you're putting your crop in anyway, just for disturbing the soil and letting it settle again. So
what is that's the concern for people, is it, Lee, that it might have some toxic matter in it once they've been larking about in your lawn?
Well, I know you've got the experience of wild boar, Carl. You've all personal experience. But I guarantee when you were running one way, the wild boars run the other way, and they do a lot of pooing. And they leave a lot of fecal matter behind them. So when they're tuning in, they're rolling in it, they're pooing in it, they're peeing in it.
Okay.
And they also like to do that in wet areas as well. So it kind of smells a little bit. It definitely needs a stink to it. But okay. I've never had any trouble using it personally.
Okay.
But it's a different game here in Portugal. But I would just make sure it was dry and dried out enough, and then transfer it. Yeah.
I think perhaps what you're suggesting there is laying it out on a tarp. The sun does the work, right, and kills the different microbes you might have there. Fantastic. And just in case anyone's wondering, I didn't do the same as the wild boar did, as Lee described it. I got home safely and didn't need to change my garments at all, in case there's any doubt there. Passion flower grandiflora is a John's amused by that, I think. Passion flower grandiflora is a non-fruiting variety, great for railings and balconies. It's fine to laugh, John, as there are no dropped fruit to clear up. That is a real blessing, isn't it, for the neighbours on the lower floors? I mean, you're not going to be a very popular neighbour if you're growing fruit on vines 2 or 3 floors up, or with the council, or with passers-by at times. So that's a really good tip, Louise. Thank you very much for that. Anything else, Anna? But you sent a fantastic companion planting guide earlier on this week, which we could share as well. So,
I was just writing down a few notes of companion planting as well. I forgot to note down the. I think one helpful website for companion planting I did find was. I I think this one was a non-UK website, but I can give it out to anyone who might find it easy. It's Heman, HEEMAN.ca /garden-guides/companion-planting, and found some very useful information on that one. And then it was sort of saying how there are like sort of benefits of like crop protection, limits risk, positive hosting, and it says trap cropping as well, so protecting by planting plants insects don't like very much, and it gave some tips like avoiding monoculture, so planting same just one thing in the same growing area, so it's just one plant. It said about using tall plants like peas and corn to create shade, and it said about planting herbs as well, because pests don't like the smell of overpowering herbs, and it confuses them and helps to save the plants that you want to keep as well.
Great stuff, Anna. Perfect. Thank you very much. One of the resources that you found was indeed this guide, wasn't it? The Eco Gardener, everything you need to know about companion planting. That's in the comments as well now. And He-Man, that's an intriguing name, isn't it? For a website. I believe He-Man is a Canadian garden centre brand. I'm happy to bring that to your screen right now. Lovely bit of branding. He-Man's in Canada. There it is. And they obviously do guides to all sorts of things. As you can see there, flowers and plants in Canada, HEEMAN. That's a resource that Anna was referring to. Right. Anything that we should be thinking about this week in the last minute here, Lee? At this time of year, what should be on our minds as gardeners?
Oh, it's all in Portugal. It's all to do with the heat this time of year. Right. I've left my lawn. I've left my prize lawn for 2 weeks. Barely touched it, and I've got fungus. I've got fungus on the prize lawn.
No.
I saw it coming through. I didn't bother treating it. I've now got 3-4 big rings of brown on the lawn.
Oh dear.
So keep an eye on your grasses. Make sure they're doing okay. It's all cropping time now, Carl. It's all time for harvesting. And prepping for winter. As you're clearing a bed, as you're clearing your beds, you want to be looking at what you can dig in, what you can prepare to get your winter crops in. We're talking earlier about the peas and beans are all finishing now. Rather than composting the peas and beans, they can be chopped and dug straight in, or the shoots and the stems can be chopped and dug straight into the soil.
Fantastic.
So green composting straight to soil. But just be careful with the warm weather. Try and do it in the evenings. It's not good fun getting caught out in the middle of the day. And lots of deadheading to come now. The geraniums in our garden have all passed the best, and I like to take the heads off. It helps push a few more through coming to the end of the season. Okay. The bougainvillea are the same. They're gonna, at the moment, they're all in great flower, but they're going to be blowing off soon enough and blowing down the street. So start prepping for clearing your bougainvillea and cutting them through, because this is the time to do it now, before they start to reshoot over the winter period.
Nothing worse than blowing
up. You can start dealing with your hedges in England now. The birds have all nested and should be out of the nests.
Yes, good to know.
Not now, but coming to the end of this month, you can start thinking about doing your privets and your hawthorns. I never like doing anything like that during the nesting season, so start prepping for that. Oh, it's all good fun. Just good fun this time of year.
Thank you very much for that. Beautiful. John, did you have something flashed across your mind? Did you want?
I just said, because Lee was talking about the unfortunate problems he's having with his laurel, so I was just wondering what about Hardy as well.
Dear, oh dear. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
But anyway, I shall see you next week.
On that note, taxi!